Yo, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. And if you are new here, please make sure to hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe, and smash that notification. Now, I know all you guys have already heard about Donald Trump being left off the ballot in Colorado, which I think is just completely unjust. It's illegal. It's wrong. These people are just worthless, scared, pathetic individuals. How are you so scared of one man running that you do everything in your power to keep him from running? It makes zero sense. This is a constitutional republic. Let we, the people, decide if we want him to represent us or not. Not you guys. You guys don't represent us. We represent us. This is what's ridiculous. I found a video, though, and this is of the person that is the president of the group that filed the thing to keep Trump off the ballot. How is this legal? How can they possibly try and keep this man off the ballot? He is literally crushing everybody in the polls. This is called election interference. This is exactly what these demon rats, what these liberals, what these worthless deep state morons, this is what they do. This is literally it. And they try to say that the conservatives do this. No. This isn't true. This is what they do. And this is just even more proof that there's a group that stopped Trump from being allowed on a ballot in a state. How is that even legal? Not one person was charged with an insurrection. So this is literally moronic, idiotic. It makes zero sense. It's all just a ploy to keep us blinded. But without further ado, let's get into it.
The group that brought the case says the ruling is, quote, justified and necessary for the future of our democracy.
No, it's not.
Joining us this morning, Noah Bookbinder, the president and CEO of Citizens for Responsibility and Ethics in Washington. It is his organization that filed this lawsuit. Noah, good morning. Thank you for being with us. That's your case. I mean, you prevailed here so far. That is your argument, that it is necessary for the future of democracy. What about those that say actually not letting the voters have their say is antithetical to democracy?
You know, I just want to stop this really quick. I'm sorry I didn't want to stop this right away. But it's so funny to hear a CNN news anchor say something like this, which is, we all know, the Clinton News Network or the Commie News Network. We all know this.
Yeah, the problem with that is that we tried that already, right? In 2020, voters had a chance to decide if they wanted Donald Trump to be president. They decided that they didn't. And what happened after that was Donald Trump refused to accept that result and incited a violent insurrection to try to keep himself in power despite having lost. There's simply no reason to think that somehow we can do it this way and it'll come out differently. That's why the framers of the 14th Amendment put this provision into the Constitution. It was specifically meant to defend the Republic from those who have attacked it in the past, attacked the democracy in the past. That's what we have here. And, you know, the Constitution sets out what the qualifications are to be president of the United States. You got to be 35 years old. You have to be born here, can't have served 2 terms, and you can't have engaged in insurrection.
Well,
you know,
except no one was charged with an insurrection. Why do these people constantly try and pour it into your brain and then people start to believe it? It's not true. There was no insurrection. Not one person was charged. Not one. So how could you keep somebody off of a ballot that no one was charged for? This is literally election interference.
Those are the rules of this democracy.
We just dig into the law here just a little bit, because when you read into Section 3 of the 14th Amendment, the language, which is what the Supreme Court, if they take this up, is going to assess, quote, having previously taken an oath as a member of Congress or as an officer of the United States. That part doesn't say president. And here's what Ty Cobb, former White House lawyer under Trump and now has been very critical of Trump, here's what he said about this. Listen.
And to the extent that the president or the vice president are included as an officer or included within the admonitions of the Constitution, they are typically highlighted, like in the impeachment clause, which specifically says president, vice president. So I think this case will be handled quickly. I think it could be 9-0 in the Supreme Court for Trump.
The High Court could rule unanimously against you, Noah. Why do you think you could prevail there?
Well, look, that was a big focus of the argument in front of the Colorado Supreme Court. It's a big focus of the decision that came out yesterday. And what it says is that actually the language of the Constitution in a lot of different parts is very clear that the presidency is an office of the United States. The debate over this provision in the 14th Amendment was made very clear that all offices, including the president, were meant to be included. There's discussion of,
for all these lies that all these people are telling right now, for all this ridiculousness and all this propaganda that they're spewing, when Trump becomes president again, they need to be held accountable for their actions. Every single one of them need to be held accountable for their actions. This is election interference that is illegal of the highest regards in the United States. How anybody, I don't care who you are, I don't even want to see this happen with Joe Biden, where we're just doing things just to keep him off the ballot. No, this is ridiculous. If this was really a problem to any of these people, they would have came after Trump 3 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. You people are blind and need to wake up.
Dictionaries and common understanding at the time. We think actually it's very clear from the history and the language that this was meant to include all officers. That includes the president. And just logically, it simply doesn't make sense that the framers of the 14th Amendment wanted to protect the country from those who had rebelled against it, those who had engaged in insurrection, except for the very top person who could do the most damage. It doesn't make logical sense, and we think the support is not there in the language or the history for that argument. We're pretty confident about that one going forward.
You're looking at the majority of these justices being textualists and originalists and looking at it that way to would arguably be in your favor. But I was struck by the dissent, Noah, from three of the justices. Let me read you one of the dissents on this court from Justice Carlos Samor. Quote, even if we are convinced that a candidate committed horrible acts in the past, dare I say, engaged in an insurrection, there must be procedural due process before we can declare that an individual is disqualified from holding public office. He writes, I am disturbed about the potential chaos wrought by imprudent, unconstitutional, and standardless system in which each state gets to adjudicate Section 3 disqualification cases on an ad hoc basis. What he is saying is, what does this do to our republic beyond Trump? If this is what it is, then what? How is this not portend chaos?
You know, this is so mind-blowing to me to hear a commie news network anchor. I don't even know what her name is. The only people who ever really knew their names was like Chris Blomo and Don Lemonade. Those were the only ones I really knew. To hear this commie news network anchor speak the way she is, when back like a couple years ago they would have said, Trump's an insurrectionist, Trump's a racist, he needs to be in prison. She's actually legit like worried because she knows that this is making Trump stronger. There is nothing to stop this now. This is all their fault, and they're going to be held to blame in 2024 when Trump takes office again. And these morons don't know what to do, and they blow their gasket off their lid. It's crazy. This is ridiculous. But it's so funny to me to watch these people like know that, like, man, he's going to end up coming back. You could tell it in her face right now. And this dude is just a worthless beta male. This dude is a woman. Like, seriously, look at him. This dude, he's a woman. Who thinks like this?
Well, look, our elections are run by the states.
One more time. Well, look, our elections are run by the states.
States on a routine basis decide the qualification of candidates. We've had decisions in Colorado and a whole lot of other states about the age of the candidates, about whether they were born in the United States. And, you know, on process, I think it's really important to bear in mind, as I think the majority of this court did, that this is a situation where you didn't have a court making an arbitrary decision. There was, in fact, extensive process. The trial court held a multi-day evidentiary hearing with testimony from law enforcement officers, members of Congress, experts, other government officials, organizers of the January 6th protests, and reviewed thousands of pages of documents. The Colorado Supreme Court reviewed that entire record.
So here's my thing, right? A document can be construed. I could write something, right? And it could be a complete lie, and I could say it's a document, right? Did they watch the videotapes? Did they watch the thousands of, however many hours, I'm pretty sure it's thousands of hours of videotapes on the January 6th footage. That's what they needed to do. Not nothing else. They needed to look at the footage and see what was really going on in there, because it's all out there now. This is so mind-blowing to me that these people can still spew this narrative and it's fine and people just go with it. How brainless are you people?
There was able advocacy from all sides, really top lawyers, Republicans and Democrats. There was a tremendous amount of process. In fact, this is the only case in the country where there has been that kind of proceeding. And reviewing all of that, this court found, the trial court found that Donald Trump engaged in insurrection. This court found that Donald Trump is disqualified. I think the evidence is actually quite overwhelming when there is that kind of very comprehensive process.
Very quickly before you go, Noah, you told Abby Phillip, our colleague, Colorado, quote, won't be the last stop. Where's next?
Well, I think the first thing that we need to do is to focus on this case, defending this really important ruling. So that's going to be our focus in the immediate term. I am confident that other states will be looking at this, but we're taking this one step at a time.
Noah Bookbinder, thanks very much.
Thank you.
Yo, that is crazy to me. Who is so obsessed with Donald Trump that they're willing to create a committee to get him taken off of the ballot? Or is this dude a paid liberal demon rat shill? Which I think that's probably the answer. Who knows? I don't know. I'd like to look into it a little bit more and see who this guy really is. But the look on his face, he's just a smug, arrogant prick who thinks he's better than everybody. You could tell by the way he acts. Like, bro, Donald Trump did not commit an insurrection. He was nothing involved with it. There was no insurrection. How can you charge somebody and keep somebody off of a ballot for something they didn't do? That would be like telling me that I can't go to a basketball game because I got an argument with LeBron James and I never even had a conversation with the guy. It doesn't make any sense. This is all illogical. Believe me, when I tell you this is all going to be righted very, very soon. And these people better hope that Trump doesn't get back into office, because I'm telling you right now, I would hold every single one of these morons accountable. I don't care who it is. You are going to be held accountable for your actions for election interference. That's all this is election interference. And this chick knows it. She knows it. That's why she wasn't asking the smug, arrogant questions like they usually do. She knows that this is just making Trump a stronger candidate for the Republican Party, and that she's scared. You could tell by the fear in her eyes. But yo, on that note, we're going to end it. Let me know what you guys think. Drop a comment down below. Also, if you haven't yet, please make sure to hit that like, hit that share, hit that subscribe, and smash that notification. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.